Assalamu alaikum students. So today in this video what we are going to do, we are going to read the story Should Wizard Hit Mommy from your book with stars. So I have already told you about the author and the story in the previous video. So let's quickly begin it. Should Wizard Hit Mommy by John Updike. So before you read, okay. Here is a story about the worldview of a little child and the difficult moral questions she raises during the story session with her father. So this story is about the world view of a little child. What is the view of the world? What is the opinion regarding the world of a little child? And what type of difficult moral questions she raises during the story session? Story session, it means her father narrates her the story every day with her father. Okay. In the evenings and for Saturday naps like today's, Jack told his daughter Jo a story out of his head. So in the evenings and for Saturday naps. It means he tells her a story every day. In the evening, it means before going to bed. And for Saturday naps. For Saturday naps, it means when the girl is going to sleep in the afternoon. Why on Saturdays? Because on Saturdays at some places we have that weekend ना. So that is why. So evening में तो रोजाना ही होता है and on Saturdays in the afternoon also. So Jack, his father, Jack told his daughter Jo a story out of his head. So it was his daily routine that he used to tell her daughter a story out of his head. So it was his creation totally. खुद ही बनाकर उसको सुनाया करता था. This custom began when she was 2, was itself now nearly 2 years old. So this custom, the custom of storytelling, it began when Jo was 2 years old. वो 2 साल की थी, so this custom was begun by Jack. Was itself now 2 years old. So now this custom, this tradition has when the custom was begun, Jo was 2 years old. So उसी तरीके से अब ये custom 2 साल पुराना हो गया. So it means Jo is 4 years old now. So this is, and his head felt empty. So continuously, daily, regularly, when you are telling your daughter a story, so out of your head, so what will happen? One day it will come that you will feel like you don't have any story in your mind and you will feel like helpless. कि आपने क्या सुनाऊं उसको? So it was like that. So that is why his head felt empty. Each new story was a slight variation of a basic tale. A small creature, usually named Roger. Roger Fish, Roger Squirrel, Roger Chipmunk, had some problem and went with it to wise old owl. So what used to happen in the story every day? Although the tale was similar every day, apart from slight variation. बस थोड़ा सा उसमें difference हुआ करता था. Otherwise, the story used to happen same every day. So what used to happen in the story? A small creature, usually named Roger. So there was a creature in the story, and his name was Roger. अब उसी का variation हुआ करता था. Sometimes it was Roger Fish, sometimes it was Roger Squirrel, Roger Chipmunk. इसी तरीके से उसका variation हुआ करता था. And this character had some problem. So he used to have some problem with him and went with it. And to solve his problem out, what he used to do? He used to go to a wise old owl. This used to happen every day in the story. यही हुआ करता था with slight variation. The owl told him to go to the wizard, and what used to happen when this character Roger used to go to the wizard? The owl told him. So that owl used to tell him to go to the wizard, that you should go to wizard, and the wizard performed a magic spell. And what used to happen when the creature Roger used to go to wizard? That wizard used to perform a magic spell that solved the problem. And in that way, the problem of that creature Roger used to be solved. इस तरीके से वो solve हो जाया करती थी. Demanding in payment a number of pennies greater than the number that Roger creature had. And अब उसने उसकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व की है, so he would demand some money ना, कुछ उसका पेमेंट होना चाहिए, and he used to demand the payment that was those number of pennies that were greater than the number that Roger creature had. He used to demand high amount of money, which Roger creature did not, have with him. So, but in the same breath, directing the animal to a place where the extra pennies could be found. But what used to happen in the same story, in the same, what used to happen in these stories on only the wizard himself used to tell him the way how he can get that remaining amount. उसके पास इतना नहीं हुआ करता था. He always used to ask large amount, and but then as the story unfolds, the wizard used to tell him the way how he can find out the remaining amount. Okay, but in the same breath, directing the animal to a place where the extra pennies could be found. कहाँ से उसको pennies money उसको को मिल जाता, could be found. The Raja was so happy he played many games with other creatures and went home to his mother just in time to hear the train whistle that brought his daddy home from Boston. So that then what used to happen after returning from the wizard, the Raja used to play with other creatures of that forest, that wood, and he used to play many games with them. उनके साथ खेला करता था. And then when when he heard a whistle, train whistle, he used to go home to see his daddy who was coming from Boston. तो ये हुआ करता था कि वो Boston से आ रहे हुआ करते थे, and then he used to go home after playing with these animals. So this used to happen every day in the story. Jack described their supper and the story was over. So when Roger, the creature Roger, अब वो कोई सा भी Roger हो, Roger fish, Roger chipmunk, Roger squirrel, कोई सा भी Roger हो उसमें, so what used to happen, he used to go to owl, or owl would direct him to go to wizard. Wizard would do a magic spell, and then Roger would play different games with the creatures of other creatures of the forest, and then at the train whistle he used to return home. And at home what used to happen, Jack used to describe their supper, dinner or evening meal. He used to describe their evening meal. Roger has gone home and he has taken meal with his family and the story. So this was the end of the story every day. So this used to happen. रोजाना ऐसे ही story में हुआ करता था. Working his way through this scheme was especially fatiguing on Saturday because Joe never fell asleep in naps anymore, and doing this made the ride seem futile. So working his way through this scheme, so this Jack was, he was having this technique every day, but now it was very tiring. It was, very tiring, especially on Saturdays. Fatiguing is very tiring. Why it was tiring? He was telling same story every day, but this was not working for some time now. कुछ टाइम से वो चीज वर्क नहीं कर रही थी, and it had become very tiring for Jack. Why? Because Joe never fell asleep in naps anymore. Because this little girl Jo, she now does not sleep in naps in afternoon anymore. And knowing this made the ride seem futile, and Jack knew it. Now she does not sleep in the afternoon, and this made this ceremony, that the storytelling, it made the thing futile, useless, pointless. So the storytelling had become futile because the main purpose of storytelling was कि आप लोग क्यों स्टोरी हम लोग बचपन में सुना करते थे, so that we can sleep. मतलब सोते टाइम ऐसा हुआ करता था लेट जाते थे, and then we used to ask our father, mother या किसी भी बड़े भाई बहन से या कुछ हम लोग के अंकल आंट हुआ करते थे घर में, so we used to ask कहानी सुनाइए, so they and then कहानी सुनते सुनते we used to sleep. यही हुआ करता ना. So this was the purpose of Jack also. He used to tell story to Joe, and while narrating the story, Joe used to sleep. When Jack was narrating the story, Joe used to sleep, but she was not sleeping for some time now. कुछ टाइम से वो सो ही नहीं रही थी in the afternoon. So that is why the storytelling had become futile now. So this is it. The little girl, not so little anymore. The bumps her feet made under the covers were halfway down the bed, their big double bed that let her be in for naps, and when she was sick, had at last arranged herself, and from the way her fat face deep in the pillow shone in the sunlight sifting through the drawn shades, it did not seem fantastic that some magic would occur and she would take her nap like an infant of two. Her brother Bobby was 2 and already asleep with his bottle. Jack asked, "Who shall the story be about today?" Okay, so a long paragraph and a long sentence. So उसको थोड़ा थोड़ा करके समझते हैं. The little girl. So first we will understand this thing that is under the bracket. This is not so little anymore. The little girl, which is actually not so little. क्यों? अब कितने साल की हो चुकी है वो? She is 4 years old now. The bumps her feet made under the covers. Covers तो हम sheet फोड़ते हैं ना वो that is. So the bumps जो उसके जो वो होते हैं ना पैर के अंगूठे उसको thumbs बोला जाता bumps बोला जाता है. Her feet made under the covers were halfway down the bed. So they had reached where? Halfway to the bed. इतने उतने हो गए थे कि उसके पैर अब आधे बेड तक आने लगे थे. Their big double bed that they let her be in for naps. तो उसका big double bed था and they here means Jack and his wife. They used to lay her lay this Joe in this bed for naps and when she was sick. So जब बीमार होती थी या for naps they used to lay her in this bed. So the little girl, अब पता समझ में आ गया ना ये वाली बात कि she is not so little now and she is quite old that her feet are reaching halfway down the bed कि आधे बेड तक वो पहुंच रहे हैं. The little girl had at last arranged herself, but now she has finally has arranged herself, so she has come in the bed and from the way her fat face deep in the pillow. So उसका face कहाँ पर है? In the pillow, shone in the sunlight sifting through the drawn shades. So that is कि जो it is afternoon ना, so it's sun is still in the sky. So her fat face deep in the pillow shone, so it was shining in the sunlight that was coming through the drawn shades. That drawn curtains, जो पर्दे डल गए थे उनके बीच में से उनकी जो थोड़ी पतली पतली दरारें हुआ करती हैं ना उनमें से that sunlight was coming and in that sunlight her fat face was shining. It did not seem fantastic that some magic would occur. So it was not like उसको जैक को लग नहीं रहा था कि कुछ magic हो जाएगा, like the magic he used to tell in the story कि wizard हुआ करता था and he would perform some magic spell. So उसको लग नहीं रहा था कि the same magic can occur in the real life also, that she would sleep somehow and she would take her nap like an infant of 2. एक infant भी है वहां पर, एक छोटा सा और baby है who is 2 years old. Her brother, and who is that infant? He is her brother and his name is Bobby. Was 2. He is 2 years old and already asleep with his bottle. So he is already asleep. He has already slept with his bottle. Uski feeder hai na, that is milk bottle. He has slept with that bottle. Jack asked, "Who shall be the story? Who shall the story be about today?" So आज किसके बारे में story होगी? Jack ने पूछा उससे. So this is little girl, because she is now 4 years old. So जब वो 2 years की थी, so she also used to sleep like this, like her brother is sleeping now. जिस तरीके से अभी उसका भाई सो रहा है ना, so she would also sleep like that. लेकिन अब because she is growing up, so that is why her habit of taking naps in the afternoon, ये होता है childhood में कि आप कितने ही बच्चों को सुलाते रहे ना, उसमें हम लोग को we want to sleep in the afternoon if we नींद आ रही होती है कि किसी तरीके से सो जाए यहाँ पर, बट जो बच्चे होते हैं कोई इधर से बोल रहा है कोई उधर से बोल रहा है कि they do not like to sleep, so it happens. So that is why, so because she is now growing up, so she does not want to sleep. So this is and the brother who is 2 years old, he is already asleep with his bottle. उसको आराम से सो गया, उसको सुलाने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Okay, so now finally she is in the bed. So Jack asked, who shall the story be about today? So आज किसके बारे में स्टोरी होगी? आज हम कौन सी स्टोरी सुनाने जा रहे हैं? Roger, she squeezed her eyes. तो भी सोच रही ना आंखें बंद करके, Roger she squeezed her eyes and बंद कर ली उसने एकदम से eyes shut and smiled to be thinking she was thinking and you know she was thinking कि रोजाना Roger तो was common कि Roger ही हुआ करता था creature but the surname was different every day. Sometimes it was Roger Fish, Roger Skunk, Roger Chipmunk and this and that. So this time she's thinking Roger and you know while thinking her eyes are closed आंखें बंद करी हुई है उसने सोच रही है कि Roger क्या होना चाहिए and her eyes open and suddenly she opens her eyes. Her mother's blue her eyes were like her mother. उसकी mother की तरह blue थी. So her eyes resemble her mother's eyes. Skunk, she said calmly. उसने पहले सोचा यानी कि the character the character which the name of the character in today's story will be Roger Skunk. So she said Roger and suddenly Skunk like this. Roger Skunk इस तरीके से उसने बोला. So today they are going to listen a story. Jack is going to tell a story about Roger Skunk. So ये story उसको बताएगा and this character is definitely suggested by who? Jo herself. उसी ने उसको वो character बताया है कि today the story will be about Roger Skunk. So क्या story होगी आज की? That we will read in our next video. Till then, Allah Hafiz and wait for the story.